Hello all, thank you for tuning in. Today we are doing a tier list ranking all of the Joes. If I forgot any Joes, if I'm missing your favorite Joe, just let me know and maybe we can do a part 2. It's a dumb video idea, but it's been on my video to-do list for almost 2 years now. That being said, let's dive in, shall we? So this is the assortment of Joes that I picked out. It was all the Joes I could think of. All the relevant Joes. Let's get started here. So, this guy, this is Joker from the Batman movies. You know, Joker, he's a bad guy. He kills people for fun. He thinks it's funny to kill people. It's not funny to kill people. I'm gonna start out, maybe this is a little harsh. Maybe he'll move up by the end of the video, but I'm gonna start out Joker. Gonna throw him in the C tier, but look, this isn't final. Let's wait till the end of the video, see where he actually ends up. Let's do an easy one. Joe Biden. This is a heavy hitter in terms of Joes. You know, former president of the United States of America, former vice president as well, longtime senator, and you know, I'm not especially political or anything, but there's just something cute about Joe Biden. So he's just got such a sweet little old man face. I'm gonna throw him an A for now. We'll see where he ends up by the end of this video. All right, let's do a fun one. Sloppy Joes. Great sandwich, easy to make, easy to love. Sloppy Joe, I think I like a little bit better than Joe Biden. Sloppy Joe, and it's an uncontroversial Joe. You know, some of these Joes, some people love them, some people hate them. I think Sloppy Joe's is a universally respected Joe. So, easy S tier. Who the hell are these people? Kind of anxious right now. I have my peanut M&Ms, you know, to help me relax and chill out a little bit. I think it's starting to help. Let me get a few more. Yeah, whenever I get a little nervous, I like to pop one of these bad boys, and that usually sets me straight for a little bit. Keep the blood sugar up. What do we got? G.I. Joe. So G.I. Joe is a toy and a cartoon about like a superhero army guy. And, you know, they say he's an American hero, but I don't know. He also loves killing people. You know, good guys, bad guys. That's not for me to decide. But also, most importantly, he's a toy. And toys are for children. I think he's a C tier, and I think he's below Joker in the C tier. Not a great Joe. Up next, we have Average Joe. This is Average Joe. Average Joe, you know him, I know him. We all know an Average Joe. Some of us are Average Joes. I think Average Joe, you know, by definition, like, he can't be an S tier, he can't be an A tier. He is just average. But, you know, the Joker and G.I. Joe are pretty controversial, whereas Average Joe, I mean, we all know him, we all love him, or, you know, at least we don't hate him. We might feel nothing about him. Some say that's worse than being hated, but I'm going to put him in the B tier for now. We got a lot of Joes to get through. This is Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic was the star of a very popular TV show from about 5 years ago. There's him with a tiger. I never watched his TV show, so I think it would be dishonest of me to place him in an A or S. I think he's going to go below Average Joe for now. Joe Camel. Now, Joe Camel is this handsome camel who is known for his cigarettes. He sells them, he smokes them, he rides a motorcycle while doing it. He is the epitome of cool. Cigarettes are bad for you, but I'm not ranking cigarette. I'm not making a tier list of cigarettes. I'm making a tier list of Joes. And because of that, I think I'm going to put Joe Camel right under Joe Biden in the A tier. What about this one? The Mighty Joe Young. I'd never heard of this until about an hour ago. Joe Young is like a discount King Kong ripoff, and I think, you know, do something original, Joe Young, you know? Because Mighty Joe Young is just a generic King Kong Walmart version King Kong. I think Joe Young is going to be our first inductee into the D tier. Matter of fact, let me rename this the F tier. The worst Joe on this list so far. Let's keep going. Joseph Stalin. Joe Stalin. He does have a cool mustache and a pretty good hairline. He was in charge of Russia during World War II. So he did help defeat the Nazis, but on the other hand, I believe historians accuse him of being responsible for the deaths of, 20 million people? So he beat the Nazis, but I think ultimately... Here, let's see. Let's Google it real quick. Joe Stalin KDR. The scholarly consensus seems to indicate 20 million or higher under his regime. That's pretty high. Cool mustache, good hairline, helped defeat the Nazis, but he also killed 20 million people. I don't think it would be fair to put him in A, and I don't think he's above average Joe. I think he's going to fall in the C tier, probably right under, but yeah, at least he's not King Kong ripoff, Mighty Joe Young. So I think he's going to fall squarely in the C tier for now. Eminem break. God damn it. Let's see. This is Joe Jonas from the Jonas Brothers. Was never much of a fan, but is he worse than Stalin? I'm going to go with yeah. Joe from the TV show Friends. Now, I never watched Friends because I have friends, so I never had to watch it. I didn't think I had anything to gain by watching it. I would rather just hang out with my own friends than hang out with the TV show about Friends. He's probably not worse than Stalin. How does he compare to G.I. Joe and the Joker? You know what? I'm gonna tie him with the. I'm gonna put him one under the Joker because I did see the Joker movies and I thought they were pretty good. But I never saw Friends. I don't care for Friends. Don't have them. Don't want them. Don't need them. Never did. Never will. Joe from Friends, you're going squarely in the C tier. So right now our only S tier is the sandwich. Can anybody beat the Sloppy Joe sandwich? Let's do a Cup of Joe. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Now, Cup of Joe is a classic. Everybody enjoys a Cup of Joe from time to time. Some people enjoy it too much. Some people drink these things every day. 2, 3, 4, 5 a day. Crazy people. Not my kind of people. It does taste good. It's a tasty drink, a Cup of Joe. A lot of people swear by it. Some people say it's the best way to start your day. For my personal tier list, I'm going to put it, if that's average Joe, I'm going to put it slightly above average. Yeah, one above average Joe. I think a Cup of Joe, I think I'd prefer a Cup of Joe to an average Joe most of the time. If I could only choose one between a Cup of Joe or an average Joe, I think I'm going with the Cup. Sorry, Joe. I put too many Joes on this tier list. I'm regretting this. It's almost like 30 freaking Joes here. This is Joey Fatone, is apparently how it's pronounced. And he's a member of the boy band NSYNC. And his last name looks like it's spelled Fat One. Joey Fat One, which is funnier than Joe Exotic. I like that. I like that his last name is Fat One. And I think I like that more than average Joe. Never really listened to much NSYNC, so I don't think it can compare to Cup of Joe. But Joey Fat One, Joey Fatone, you can go right in the B tier. I think that's where you belong. Next up, we have the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Joey Chestnut. Now, Joe Chestnut is a professional eater. He's very good at eating. So, by that logic, he would crush up a Sloppy Joe. It wouldn't even be close competition. Yeah, getting paid to eat a lot of food is pretty funny. So I think, damn, is Joey Chestnut really going to top the list? Yeah. I think Joey Chestnut is our current #1 Joe in the Joe tier list. Yeah, certainly above Biden. I mean, just look at him. I mean, he's a freaking athlete. A professional. I guess you can see where my biases lie. You know, Sloppy Joe. I guess these are both Sloppy Joe in a way. Sloppy Joe the sandwich and Sloppy Joe the man who eats sandwiches, hot dogs, whatever. Let's do Joe Mama. Now, Joe Mama will never not be funny. Knock, knock, who's there? Joe? Joe who? Joe Mama? That's gonna crush in any room. Ooh, Joe Mama above Joe Biden? Does Joe Mama go above Joe Biden? Ooh. Alright, well, I know he goes above Cup of Joe because I would rather start my day with a Joe Mama joke than with a Cup of Joe. But he's not as cool as Camel Joe. Solid A tier, though. Next up, we have Joey Wheeler, Yu-Gi-Oh player from the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon. Now, Joey Wheeler is in Japan, but he speaks in like a New York accent. Often the comic relief character of the show, but also an underdog story. Everybody roots for Joey Wheeler. He's not F, not C. He is above average. I'm not gonna put him up in the A or S because anime is kind of cringe. However, I have a lot of nostalgia watching Joey Wheeler on the big screen. I think he's going to go straight in the B tier. All right, we're making some headway. Making some headway in the Joe tier list. Just a few more Joes left. Let's see, 4, 5, 6. There's 12 more Joes to go. Let's do another anime. We got Joe, Double Joe. That counts for something. Joe's Bizarre Adventure. Never watched it. Anime is kind of cringe, but there are 2 Joes, whereas the rest of these guys just have, you know, a singular Joe. I'm thinking B tier. Anime is cringe, though. Anime is cringe. Do I like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure more than Joe Biden? No. Maybe JoJo is a C tier. Do I like it more than Joseph Stalin? Than Joe Stalin? You know what? I thought about it some more. I'm going to bump up G.I. Joe because he is an American hero, and I'm going to put JoJo's Bizarre Adventure right behind that because they're both cartoons, they're both cringe, they're both for children, but at least there's 2 Joes, and at least this guy's an American hero. You got to support the troops. So you might have noticed this guy. Now, this guy here, we already did Average Joe, but this guy here is slightly different. This is not Average Joe. This is Joe Schmo. And I think Joe Schmo is just like a worse version of Average Joe. Like Average Joe is not good, not bad. Joe Schmo, there's a negative connotation. Like if someone described you as being an Average Joe, you'd be like, yeah, probably. But if someone said, yeah, he's a real Joe Schmo, you'd be like, he's like a freaking loser. But he's still close to average. I think I'm going to put him under Joe Exotic because, you know, they might both be losers, but at least Joe Exotic has like a tiger. Joe Schmo would never have a tiger or dress that cool. Next up, we got Joe Pesci. Now, Joe Pesci is an actor. He's been in some movies, probably. Joe Pesci movies. Let's see. Joe Pesci is known for playing tough guys and mobsters. Raging Bull, Goodfellas, and Casino. I've seen Goodfellas, which is ironic because Joe Pesci was a good fella, but apparently he was a very bad man. You know, he played a very bad man on TV. This guy's a crazy guy. He's not killed as many people as Joseph Stalin. Goodfellas, a good movie about bad fellas. You know, he's kind of fallen into the Joker category of Joes, you know? But the Joker is not a real person, and Joe Pesci is, and because of that, I'm going to place Joe Pesci at the top of the C tier above Joker. Let's do Trader Joe's next. Trader Joe's is a grocery store chain. They sell food and drink and treats and knickknacks of all kinds. They have very fair prices and decent quality for those prices. One thing about Trader Joe's is the people who work there are always very sexy. There's a weird sexual tension at Trader Joe's, especially at checkout. The people who check you out at Trader Joe's, and bag up your groceries. They're always very sexy, and there's always a sexual tension in that process, which I like. They got good prices, good food, and when I go there, I get horny, and that's what keeps me coming back. Because of that, I think Trader Joe's, it's definitely an A-tier Joe. Ooh, I'm thinking Trader Joe's above Joe Camel. I've never, Joe Camel's never, I never thought Joe Camel was sexy. I never thought Joe Biden was sexy. Look, this is just a testament to how far sex appeal can get you in this world. I'm putting Trader Joe's at the top of the A tier. Where does that take us? I think next we'll do Joe the baby kangaroo. So baby kangaroos, if you didn't know, are called Joeys. Don't ask me why, but that's what they call them. I've never seen a Joey, so I don't know if they're real or not, but I've seen footage of them. There's an abundance of footage of these guys online. If you look up Joey video in Google, you'll be able to watch them too. They are very cute, and they're funny. They're funny. They're not sexy like Trader Joe's, but they are cute and funny. I think we got another A-tier Joe on our hands. Joe Biden versus Joey the baby kangaroo. I think Joey the baby kangaroo is cuter than Joe Biden, but not sexy like Trader Joe's, so I'm going to throw them in the A tier. 7 more Joes to go. This guy is played baseball without shoes on. Shoeless Joe Jackson. He was famous for playing baseball without baseball shoes. Now, I like his rebellious spirit, really sticking it to Big Shoe, but baseball is kind of cringe. So, Shoeless Joe, I'm putting you in the C tier because at least you don't kill people like G.I. Joe. Well, you don't kill people like the Joker either. And you both, Shoeless Joe and Joker, you both have this anti-establishment rebellious streak about you. But I'm gonna have to give it to Shoeless Joe because he was a real person and the Joker is made up, and I don't like to pretend. Next up, we got Joseph Smith. Now, Joseph Smith was not pretend. He was a real guy who really spoke to God and really was given a New Testament of the Bible, the Book of Mormon. He has a rebellious nature about him, similar to Shoeless Joe and Joe Kerr. He went to war with the United States government. Joseph Smith and his followers would go to war to defend their beliefs and their right to practice their religion freely. And I gotta respect that. People like to talk all kinds of crap about Joseph Smith and the Mormons. People call him a liar, a fraudster. People love to yap. I don't know. I kind of like this guy. Joseph Smith is kind of inspiring. Some may say he started out as a cult leader, but over time he became totally legitimate. And now there are 17 million Mormons in the world? That's about as legitimate as a cult could ever hope to be. Again, not my word. I'm just saying that's how a lot of people feel about this fella. I think Joseph Smith, I think he's above Biden. Well, I don't know. Mormons are cool. I think Mormonism is cool. I think the Church of Latter-day Saints, I've spoken to them on the streets. They approach me. They say, hey, would you like to come to church with me on Sunday? And I've gone to church with the Mormons, and they've always been lovely, polite, inviting, generous. There's a lot of very good people in the Church of Latter-day Saints. I'm really tempted to throw them in the S tier here. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. Let's rip it. Joseph Smith and S tier Joe. Now this is Joseph Trepetin, who you guys might not know, but I knew him in high school, and I thought he was really cool back then. Joseph Trepetin is at least an A-tier Joe. Is he a better Joe than Joe Biden? Look, I don't. He's not better than Joey the kangaroo. I think Camel Joe is just a little bit cooler than Joe Trepetin. I'm gonna put him right above Joe Mama. A solid A-tier Joe. Let's do Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and that's more than you can say about Lamar Jackson. Sorry, just being honest. And winning a Super Bowl is no easy feat. People kind of like Joseph kind of like Joseph Smith, a lot of people talk crap about Joe Flacco, but he did win a Super Bowl. You got to give respect where it's due. Joe Flacco, S tier Joe. All right, the final three. We have Joey Diaz, actor, comedian, friend of Joe Rogan, very funny dude. I'm thinking at least an A tier. I think he is funnier than Joe Mama, but I think Joseph Trepetin is going to beat him out on this one just slightly. Not too shabby. Solid A tier placement for Joey Diaz. A pretty good Joe. And that brings us to Joe Rogan, podcaster, comedian, pop culture figure, commentator, fight commentator. All right, I think he's above Joe Fat One. Joey Wheeler probably beats out Joey Wheeler. You know what? All right. This is good because a lot of people like to start out their day with a cup of Joe, but some other people like to start out their day with a podcast of Joe. So, they kind of go hand in hand, really. Cup of Joe, the Joe Rogan Experience. That's a great way to start your day. It's also the kind of stuff that helps people get through their day. Yeah. Top of the B tier, Joe Rogan. Did not expect that. And last but not least, we have jokes. Jokes. Joe jokes. Jokes are the reason I get out of bed in the morning. I like to go about my day hearing, saying, enjoying as many jokes as possible, and personally, I think there's never a bad time to enjoy a joke. I'm going to put jokes as my number one pick at the top of the S tier. That is my favorite kind of Joe, is a good joke. Shared with friends, shared with family, strangers. It's never a bad time for a little joke. And I think that's going to conclude my Joe tier list. Let me know if I forgot to rank any of these Joes. You agree? If you disagree, let me know. Maybe we can redo this whole thing. Hey, sorry, real quick. Just one emergency edit to the tier list. So I just watched Home Alone and I thought Joe Pesci was very good in it. So I would like to retroactively move Joe Pesci up to A tier between Joe Camel and Joe Biden. Thank you, Joe Pesci. I'm sorry, Joe Pesci. Please forgive me. Thank you. Today we have found out once and for all through rational, logical thinking which Joes are the best Joes. I hope you enjoyed watching. Peace be upon you. I love you. Have a great day.